2023. Centered in God, I create a fresh and new life. I begin this year with renewed enthusiasm and a fresh perspective. I feel vibrantly alive as I realize that all the love, wisdom, energy, and strength of God are mine to express in life right now. Grateful for the lessons of life experience, I release past disappointments with a forgiving heart. I find harmony in my relationships as I look beyond differences and focus on the divine life and love that unite all people. I go about my work, seeking to serve others with a humble heart. I find ways to develop and evolve my skills and nurture my talents, allowing me to continue to grow and learn. This year, I will thrive in all areas of life as I feel God's presence everywhere I go and in everything I do. And the one who was seated on the throne said, "See, I am making all things new." Revelations 21:5.
God is all indivisible and invisible, one presence, one mind, one power is all.
This one is all, is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God. I am number one,
with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Amen.
People get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the keys are humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. Now people get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Well, faith is the key, open the doors and board, 'cause there's hope for all among those who love the most. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all mankind just to save his own. Have a pity on those whose chances grow thinner, but there's no hiding place among the kingdom's throne. So people get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the keys are humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord.
What a perfect song for today, because this is a day that are you ready? Because you don't have a whole lot of choice. A new year has started. And what a blessing. I mean, Mike and I don't know how many of you even stay up till midnight these days, and we're a little bit of an older crowd for the most part. But last night, Mike and we make it our tradition that we stay up and greet the new year every year. And last night to me it was like, how in the world can it be 2023? I mean, seriously, that's like a big number. It's just crazy. But here we are, and today today is the day, not only that we begin a new year, but it's a day that we, in unity, do a ceremonial kind of a ritual. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like rituals. It's like a certainty in a world filled with uncertainty, right? And don't you kind of like those things that you know are going to happen? Like, you know, Christmas is going to come every year. You know, the days are starting to get longer. You know, the weather, you know, we're probably going to get some more chilly stuff before spring comes. But there are certain certainties in life that we come to expect. And I think those certainties help us with the uncertainties. Does that make sense? It does to me. And one of the certainties of life is that life doesn't go in a straight line. Life is kind of cyclical. It's not a closed circle. We don't just keep going around and around and around and around and repeating the same thing. It's more of an upward circle. It's like an upward spiral where we constantly learn and grow. I was thinking about my grandchildren who were born. My first grandchild was born in the year 2000, actually 2001. And she will be 21 this year. Really? How is that possible? And I was thinking about how much, I mean, if we look at ourselves in the mirror, how much have we changed in the past 21 years? I mean, I'm a few pounds heavier, got a few more wrinkles. You have no idea whether or not I have any more gray hair because I cover it up. Now, Mike, on the other hand, he used to have really dark hair. So, as we age, you know, when we are already a little bit older and 20 years go by, we kind of go back and go, man, that went by fast. But then you look at a child. You know, when I think that my granddaughter was born in 2001, and she's going to be 21 this year, it just boggles my mind because, you know, when she was a newborn, when she was an infant, she came to my house every day when her mother went back to work. And so I watched, you know, I changed her diaper and fed her bottle and did all that stuff that babies have to have. And then next thing you knew, she was walking and now she's going to be, 18, they're legal adults, but 21, she can even drink legally, although that's probably not anything new for her. She's in college, whatever. But as part of that circle of that upward spiral of life, it's like we breathe, right? We don't just breathe in. We have to breathe in and we breathe out. We're born. Addison was born in 2001. And I'm not telling you what year I was born. But at some point in time, we're all going to leave this physical form as well. So there's beginnings and endings. There's breathing in and breathing out. There's winter, spring, summer, and fall. There's all of these cycles that we're used to in life. And what is amazing is that even though letting go, that breathing out, is part of the cycle, how many people don't really like that part of it? They're like, oh, that's not the good part. That's the bad part. That's the part that we don't want to deal with. Has anybody ever known someone, maybe personally or maybe you just heard about them, people that really get hung up on not letting go of stuff. And when I was getting ready for this service, one of the things I did is I thought about it, and I've never watched it before, but for the first time, I watched a show called Hoarders. Has anybody ever seen that show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And, you know, the feeling that I came away with after watching that was profound sadness. It really, really made me sad that those individuals thought that things outside themselves could make them happy, could make them complete, could make their lives better. And what it really proves is that letting go, that releasing, that part of life is just as important as that accumulating, that taking in, those years that we spend, you know, as we go through life, we have years where, you know, you dream of buying your first home. You dream of, for me it was having a family, starting my family. You dream of these things, and then they happen, and then, you know, and then the reality of them is sometimes wonderful and sometimes less than wonderful, right? But as we go through life, then we watch our children grow up to become adults, and then we watch our children become parents, and then we watch our grandchildren grow up, if we're fortunate enough to be around that long. And it's just a very interesting thing that letting go part is fought by so many people. I mean, how many have you ever heard of empty nest syndrome? You know, some parents, when their children become adults and they go off to college or they move out of the house just because they need to be independent, they have a really hard time with it. So that letting go, even though it's a natural part of life, is something we struggle with. And that's really the purpose of this burning bowl ceremony that we're going to do today. So now that the new year has begun, I'd like to share with you something that our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, wrote about this burning bowl service this time of year. We must learn to let go, to give up, to make room for the things we have prayed for and desired. So we wanted so badly for this or that to happen in our lives, to come to us. And we have to know that that very thing that we prayed for, that very thing that we desired so badly, will also leave us. And it's our acceptance of that pattern of life, that bringing in and releasing, that makes our lives better, makes our lives easier, truly makes us happier. The more easily we can let something go and release it, the happier we can actually be. And you know, what one of the main keys is to that natural and normal part of releasing, especially the tough stuff, often it's forgiveness. And forgiveness isn't always easy. And forgiveness, I think, as with anything, where does that forgiveness have to begin? Right here? Yeah. Yeah. And what does that mean? That means that there's probably something in our own lives, and we may not even have discovered what it is. And I don't care if you're 20-something, 30-something, or a little older than that. There may be something still hanging around in there, somewhere, that you're holding against yourself. Not somebody else, but yourself. And until we find what it is that we're holding on to and forgive ourselves. And I have a lot of favorite authors, but one of my favorite authors, more new to me, is Brene Brown. And if you're familiar with Brene Brown and her work, the one thing, the big, huge, hidden in the closet thing that so many of us hide from is shame. And shame is different than blame or hurt or pain or anything else, because shame says not you did or I did, but I am. And when we use those words, I am, they are so powerful that if we tell ourselves, well, I did this terrible thing, we can forgive ourselves for that. But if we label ourselves, I am this terrible thing, that is harder to let go of. So we have to, it reminds me, I'm goofy about some stuff, and I like to remove the labels from stuff like this before I get rid of it. I'm really big into recycling. And if you're going to recycle plastic, you have to take the paper off of the plastic before you can recycle it. So I try to pull the labels. I spend an inordinate amount of time trying to pull labels off of plastic so that there's no paper left. And the point I'm making with that is that label that we've stuck on ourselves, that label of not I did this terrible thing, but I am this terrible thing, can be awfully hard to remove. And not only can it be difficult to remove, it can leave little pieces that we thought we'd gotten rid of. But there's this little bit, it's still stuck there. And then you gotta kind of pick at it some more. And we really, really need to begin with letting go of whatever it is that's attached to ourselves. Because until we discover and release, and as painful as it's probably going to be, rip off that label that we have stuck to ourselves, we can't truly forgive another until we have done that for ourselves. Just as we say, let peace begin with me, let forgiveness, it all begins with me. It all does. And that's why we have to let it go. And you know, when I read today's daily word, and I gotta say, I love having people read the daily word. And if you're going to read the daily word, follow Wade's example. I don't think that was the first time Wade read the daily word. Do you? No. However, I have seen people get up here and it looks like they picked it up and went, okay. No. This is my school teacher coming out here. You have to do your homework. So if you're going to read the daily word, please do it. Do yourself and all of us a favor and do it in advance. And this daily word, if you're not getting this cute little magazine, it's not silly. I've been getting the daily word probably since the 80s. And today's daily word has so much in it. I just was like, because I'll underline and I'll highlight and I'll, look at stuff. And it's only about 150 words. Yet, this daily word could be my entire message to you today because it says so much. I mean, we begin with an affirmation that says that we are centered in that divine being. We can call it God, we can call it divinity, we can call it whatever we want to call it, but that inner divinity is at our core. And because we recognize that, it doesn't have to be the first of the year, but it is today, that we can make a fresh, new start anytime. You can make a fresh, new start every single day if you want to. And it talks about renewed enthusiasm. I mean, let's get excited about our lives, peeps. This is the only one we get in this time. This is all this is it. Let's make the best of it and let's enjoy it. And a fresh perspective. That's what we're talking about doing today, is having a fresh perspective. We've got these wonderful little pieces of paper, and if you've never been to a burning bowl service before, it's pretty cool. Because what we do is we write on this paper what we want to release. And I tore mine when I wrote on it, because I try to write too hard, I push too hard. And it can be one thing or it can be multiple things. And like for me, I stress out about too much. I just allow little things to stress me out. And so that's one of my biggies that I want to let go of this year. Is I want to let go of my tendency to stress. And we all have things we need to let go of. And what we're going to do, how we're going to do this burning bowl service is, after I finish yakking at you a little bit more, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a meditation. And I don't want you to really think too much about what you want to let go of. I want you to go into the meditation that we enter in a little while and allow, keyword, allow. Because there is a presence and power living in each and every one of us. And it will speak to us It speaks to us all the time, in fact. It's just too often we're so busy thinking about what we want or what we don't want that we don't allow that message to come through to us. So when we go into meditation this time, I want you to really just do your best to, when the thoughts come, to just kind of watch them float away. Some people like to use, the image of like a leaf floating down the river. Some people like to use the image of a cloud floating by in the sky. If there's an image that works for you, just allow it. Don't fight it. Don't fight the thought. Oh, I don't want to think that. No. Just say, oh, okay, and let it go. Oh, okay, and let it go. And then, in the midst of that, you might have a feeling. And that feeling may be, I don't know, surrender. Maybe it's time for you to say, you know what, God, divine presence, whatever name you want to use, I can't do this on my own. I have tried and tried and tried, and I can't. I give up. I give up. And I give it to this presence and power that can do all things. Because sometimes it's that letting go that we really need to do. And sometimes that's the hardest, right? That release, that allowing a presence and power that we know is much, much greater than anything we're capable of doing. Allow that to do it for us. So I want your meditation today to be as peaceful, as calm, as thought-free as you've ever experienced before. Today is the day the Lord has made. We are rejoicing because we get to have a fresh start. We get to feel vibrantly alive. And why? Because all the love, wisdom, energy, and strength of that presence and power is ours. It's ours for the asking. And all we do is we ask and we believe and we let go and allow. And life is going to bring us lessons. And until we get it, we're going to keep getting that lesson. And sometimes what happens is the lesson gets tougher and tougher. If we don't get it the first time, it comes around again and it might be a little tougher. And if we don't get it that time, it comes around again, it might be even tougher still. And sometimes I think those lessons that keep coming back ultimately come back to what I just mentioned earlier. Saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'll tell you, I personally, I suffer from, I can do that. I mean, I think I can do anything, and I can. But when I get to the point when I've tried and tried and tried, and it seems like no matter what I do, I'm not getting what I need, then it's like, well, move into meditation now. And I want you to just make yourself as comfortable as you can possibly be. I do recommend that you have your feet flat on the floor. And your hands, I prefer, and it's up to you. I mean, if you want to fold your hands, that works. If you want to just leave them open in your lap, that works. Whatever works for you, it's all good. There's no wrong way to do this, okay? So relax completely and fully. Let's take a deep breath. And release it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel any tensions, any worries, any concerns. Just drift by. This is a time for you to move from this outer world, this world of duality, this world of conflict, this world of change. Move away from that and into that place within, that place of solitude, that place where you touch the face of divinity that lives, moves, and has its being in you. This power and presence is capable of doing anything, everything, whenever, wherever. It will do for you what you cannot do for yourself. It is all powerful, all knowing, everywhere and always present. And it is love. It loves you unconditionally. All the things that you have blamed yourself for are gone. There is no shame. You are a perfect, individualized expression of that one presence and power. So in this place where you touch that perfection, I want you to just sit and breathe and be with that perfection that you are. place of oneness, back to your earthly being. Perhaps you realize there is something you have discovered that you need to release. You need to just let it go. You need to allow a power and presence much greater than you to take it from you. And you willingly give it and willingly allow that presence and power to handle it for you. So now I'd like you to take the pencil and paper that you were given when you walked in. Take a moment if you need to and write down that something that you need to release. I am now free from whatever it is. I release completely whatever it is. I no longer have a need for this or that. What we release to the flames will be eliminated. It will be gone. We will no longer be troubled by it. It will no longer bother us. Give it to the flame. And just really think about what it feels like to have that gone from your life. So we can move forward into this new year knowing we're free. We are free to create anew what we would like to see in our life. And so next week, we have another opportunity to take this void that we've created and fill it. So between now and next Sunday, what I want you to be doing is going into that same type of meditation that you went in today. I hope that you really felt your connection, because that's what meditation is about. It's finding that connection between your humanness and your own divinity. And when you find that connection and spend time in that connection, you will learn and grow, and it's amazing how things will happen when you leave that meditation and just go out in the world and go about your business. And coincidences, God winks, whatever you want to call them, you just start noticing. And sometimes you just get this body shiver. Whoo, it was cool. But you start noticing them. And I want you to do that this week. Start noticing those God winks. Spend at least a little time every day. It doesn't have to even be in a special time or a special place. It can be any time. Anytime you get a chance, you can just You're looking for that new direction. So you'll be able to walk in here next Sunday when we do the white stone ceremony and our letters to that divine presence. You will know exactly what you want to say. You'll know exactly what you want to write on your stone. Because you have spent this week saying, I'm ready.
Your love is extravagant. Friendship is endless. I feel I'm moving with the rhythm of your grace, your fragrance is intoxicating in a secret place. Your love is extravagant. Spread wide in the arms of Christ is a love that covers sin. No great love have I ever known. You consider me a friend and capture my heart again. Your love is extravagant. Friendship, it is intimate. 'Cause I feel I'm moving with the rhythm of your grace, your fragrance is intoxicated in a secret place. 'Cause your love is extravagant. Spread wide in the arms of Christ is a love that covers sin. No great love
to do your daily meditations, and you're going to go to that place of connection and really feel it. And you'll come back next Sunday and you will know exactly what you want to write on your white stone for this year. And what you will want to write to that divine presence that you know lives in and through you. Have a great week, everyone.